Hey, it's Tia Torres with Wild Instincts, and I'm here with yet another adventure in Sri Lanka on the set of the Jungle Book. So, the last we were here, I told you a little story about how sometimes things can go wrong, even with the most trained animals. Well, actually, Shadow was doing his job. It was us as the humans that messed up. Um, but hey, it happens, right? They say working with kids and animals, expect the unexpected. So on that same topic, um, there was this one particular day where we had to film a scene with Sarah, the one of the tigers. We had two female tigers with us. We had Sarah and Shay. Shay was a little more temperamental. Sarah, like Shadow, was about as close to having a dog cat as you could possibly have, except it was a tiger. She was pretty amazing. Um, so we were filming a scene where, and it wasn't anything major. We were out in the jungle and we were filming a scene where she had to just go from A to B, stay on her mark. And then the trainer down at the other end releases her. And then another trainer calls her to them. We call it just like simple shots, like B-roll, B-rolls where they have the shots that they insert in between the bigger scenes. And I remember myself and a couple of the other wolf dog trainers were in a different area, but we all had walkie-talkies because none of us had cell phones. They didn't really have cell phones bear that much. And then I heard it over the walkie-talkie that Sarah was on the loose. Yes, apparently, and she didn't do it in a really dramatic way. As she was trotting to the second trainer, she just kind of veered off to the left and just sauntered into the jungle and disappeared before anybody could catch up to her. So panic has set in. All hell breaks loose. And when I say we are and I keep saying it, we're in the jungle. And like I said, there's little villages scattered throughout the area. And, it's all hands on deck. So I would say it wasn't that long. I'm going to say maybe 20 minutes of looking for her. And we finally get the call over the walkie-talkie that she has been spotted and caught. So we all reconvene and, what happened. And, just one of those animal things where she got sidetracked. She just got sidetracked and decided to go somewhere else. The funny part was, it was where she was found. She had decided that she was tired, and she simply just laid down in some tall grass with a small herd of cows. she was just laying with the cows like she was one of them. It was pretty cute, actually. So that was the less dramatic popping off their mark story. So let's talk about my wolf dog, shall we? And I can go on for days about these animals. This particular day, we were filming in a place called the Botanical Gardens. Now, the Botanical Gardens are the equivalent, I'm trying to think, maybe like Central Park or Griffith Park. We're talking like acres and acres and acres. And basically, it's just this big, beautiful area where people can, walk along the paths and look at the beautiful trees and the flowers and nature. It's a public place. And for the filming purposes, we were not allowed to shut it down, but we were able to film in a kind of like a little corner off to the side. So once again, we had to do A to Bs. And I'll tell you, A to Bs were like, we just hear that. We're like, oh, please let it work. But this was a pretty good distance. So we were going to use Lobo and Nashaka this day. Okay, let me explain these two wolf dogs. Well, actually, Nashaka was a wolf dog. Lobo was a straight Siberian Husky. Not a very pretty one, actually. So jokingly, Brian named him Lobo because he was the least wolfy out of the pack. So he gave him the name Lobo just because it was kind of cute. But Lobo was kind of a troublemaker. He was always the one that was going to push it. Nashaka, sweet as can be. Always wanted to comply. Just a sweet dog. So we brought the dogs over in, and hold on for a second before you judge me how it sounds, in the back of a pickup truck, but not in the pickup truck itself. We had what they call transfer cages. And that's what we brought the animals over on the plane. And they're these gigantic, think of like those big metal cages they used for like the circus back in the old days, these big, the big cages. So, I mean, they were the size of an entire bed of a pickup truck and tall. So we kept those in the back of our trucks to use like when we were filming off in the distance and to haul the animals because it gave them a lot of room. We could have a water bucket in there. They had a solid roof, so they were in the shade. Anyways, so we just said, oh, screw it. Why load them up in crates and find a van? Let's just put them in the transfer cage. So we drove over to the botanical gardens, and it was a beautiful day out, and there were people walking around, families, and we were off in a corner, and we just had to do A to B's. So open the transfer cage. They both hop out of the back of the truck, and we kind of get them used to the area. They're happy-go-lucky, and Lobo was feeling extra frisky on this particular day, and I could see it in him. I'm like, gosh, I wish we could abort this mission. I just got a bad feeling. And you know what they say about, well, you know what I say about go with your gut at the end of every episode, right? Follow your instincts, follow your gut. Well, time is money. So despite my hesitation, we had to film the scene. So I believe it was Chris. He stayed at point A. And we put both of them on, stand stays, not sit stays, stand stays on their marks. Okay. Let me say this. I was the newest trainer, but I was also the trainer with actually, in my opinion, one of the biggest challenges out of anybody else, because I was the only trainer that had to work with multiple animals at one time. The bear worked by himself, the tiger, the leopards, the primates. They worked by themselves. I had to work like a pack of dogs at one time sometimes. On this particular day, it was a dynamic duo. And whenever you do A to Bs with more than one dog, let's face it, some of you that are listening that have dogs, more than one dog, turning them loose together, there's like this competition thing, or this, you're going faster, so now I want to go faster, and things can get a little hectic within seconds. And like I said, I'm watching Lobo down there at his mark, and he's standing on his mark, but he's kind of wiggling and just kind of not wanting, to focus. The Shaka's right on me, looking right at me. And I had another trainer with me on my end. So we walked back a distance, and cameras rolling, action. Nashaka, Lobo, come. Come on. And they take off, and they're running. And then Lobo, I see it. I'm like, no. One of those slow motion. No. I see Lobo look off to the side, and I don't even know what he saw. And that was all she wrote. Whew, he was gone. And then, of course, Nashaka went with him. And I'm like, oh my God. Now, unlike Shadow, who jumped in the water, Sarah, who kind of sauntered away, these two were like lightning. And they, thankfully, take the path of least resistance. They did not go off into the jungle. They got on the walking path, the little stone walking path that goes all the way through the botanical gardens. And they just stayed on the path and they just took off running. And of course, people are like screaming. And myself, Chris, the other trainer, Nicole, we were just running after them. But we literally looked like we were running in slow motion because they were running so fast. I don't even know why we chased them, because there was no way for us to catch up. It's just a reflex. So, mind you, it's hot as hell. It's humid and we're running. And they look like little specks off in the distance. I don't know why we were chasing them. So, mind you, there's trees everywhere. So you can't really see when you're taking the corners on this walking path, but I'm like, you know what? They took off on the walking path. Hopefully they'll stay on the walking path. Maybe they'll stop to pee. Let's just keep running on this walking path. Or to us, it was a running path. So we're running and we're running and we ran. I don't even know how long we ran. I don't even know how far we ran. All I know is this particular area, the botanical gardens, we ran the entire path. And we're getting back to our original spot. I'm like, oh my God, did you see them? I didn't see them anywhere. I'm like, oh my God, my dogs have just ran off in the jungle. Oh my God, oh my God. And as we're coming, by now we're like out of breath. We're not even running anymore. We're just walking, leash in hand. But as we're coming back to the set where all the crew was, they all looked rather calm. Nobody looked in a frenzy. And I'm like, oh, they're going to laugh at us because we just made fools of ourselves because we didn't catch them. We're morons. We're idiots. And we get there. And we're like, we can't find them. We're going to have to get another truck out. We're going to have to go driving around looking for them. And one of the crew members, I forgot which one, he just points. And we look over at the truck. They had made a big circle and got back to set and jumped right into the back of the truck, back into that transfer cage and laid down. And then one of the crew members went over there and closed the gate. Yep. We were the experts, all right. God, dogs made us look so dumb. So, the lesson here is this, and I get this a lot from people in the nowadays, okay? You have these dog trainers out there that do these quick training exercises where it borderline looks like abuse. Choking your dog out, slamming your dog, intimidating your dog, scaring your dog, and it only costs you $4,000 to have your dog physically and mentally abused. But they guarantee you your dog's fixed. Okay? I trained him and he is fixed. There's no guarantee in training, people. So if you want to throw your money away at some of these trainers, you do that. But in the meantime, look at what your poor dog is going through. Okay? That's the lesson here. We trained with so much love and so much praise and so much fun. And look, shit happens, right? Shit happens. Okay? All I'm saying is they're animals. Dogs are animals. We can't get into their head and predict anything. So for some trainer to tell you 100%, I guarantee, the minute you hear those words, close your wallet and run, because there's just no guarantee, especially when you're in the jungles of Sri Lanka with an incorrigible husky who thinks he's a wolf. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for entertaining me for this episode. And we got more stories to come. What am I talking about? Me. I got more stories coming your way. All right. Stay wild. Stay really wild, because I'm a little bit embarrassed. So that's all I'm going to say. I got more embarrassing stories to come. All right, y'all. Stay wild. Follow your instincts. Go with your gut. The whole shebang.